Imagine this. You're texting someone all day, vibing hard, laughs, flirty banter, even talk of a future. Then, silence. No explanation. No goodbye. Just ghosted. Or maybe you're in a relationship where everything looks perfect online, but deep down, you feel alone. Sound familiar? You're not crazy. Modern love is broken. And if you've ever felt like dating today feels more like a game than a genuine connection, you're not alone. But here's the thing, we're not here to complain. We're here to understand, to heal, and to rise above the noise. Welcome to Astad Psyche, your trusted sanctuary where real talk meets relationship science. This isn't just another dating advice channel, this is where psychology, emotional intelligence, and timeless truth come together to decode the chaos of modern love. Let me ask you this, have you ever wondered why dating feels more confusing today than ever before? Why do people seem more emotionally unavailable, communication feels off, and ghosting is the new norm? If you've been asking these questions, then congratulations, you're in the right place. Hey there, I'm your host, Astad. And I'm so excited you're here. If you're someone who wants to build deep, meaningful relationships, the kind that don't just survive but thrive, then you're going to love what we unpack here. So before we dive into this power-packed episode, do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video with someone who needs clarity and love. Trust me, what you're about to hear can change the way you date, love, and relate, forever. Now let's get into it. Why is modern love so broken? One of the biggest issues in today's dating world is emotional illiteracy. Most people don't know how to label their emotions, let alone communicate them effectively in a relationship. According to psychologist Dr. Susan David, emotional agility, the ability to navigate your inner world with clarity, is a vital skill for relationship success. For those unfamiliar, emotional agility refers to being aware of, accepting, and managing your thoughts and emotions in a way that aligns with your values. It's about facing your emotions with openness, curiosity, and compassion, rather than avoidance or repression. Yet, so many walk into love blindfolded, unable to truly express what they want or need. When we don't understand our own emotional responses, it's nearly impossible to connect meaningfully with others. And this is where miscommunication starts. Imagine you're out on a date, and your partner seems distant. You ask how their day went, and they respond with a one-word answer, clearly distracted. You sense something is off but don't know how to approach it. They don't offer clarity, and you don't ask, both assuming the other should just know. This is the kind of silent misunderstanding that builds over time. Miscommunication isn't always shouting or arguing, often, it's the quiet disconnect where two people feel more like strangers than lovers, even while sharing the same space. Shared emotional labor, for instance, is one of the most misunderstood aspects of modern love. A healthy relationship isn't about one person carrying the weight of emotional management, it's about co-creating a space where both people feel heard, safe, and seen. A practical example: when your partner is stressed, you don't just say you'll be fine, you ask questions, validate their feelings, and ask how you can support them. And when emotional labor isn't shared, it often leads to resentment. Emotional illiteracy isn't just about miscommunication, it's about someone consistently not being able to show up emotionally, and the burden falling on the other person to carry the weight of the relationship's emotional health. Performative dating, the mask we wear. Then there's performative dating, a behavior rooted in emotional illiteracy, where individuals, unsure of their own needs and identities, adopt externally appealing personas just to be accepted or liked. It's the result of a culture that teaches us to prioritize how things look over how they feel. For example, someone might constantly post curated couple selfies not because they're deeply connected to their partner, but because they're chasing validation or trying to prove something to the world. This kind of dating creates pressure to maintain an image, leaving no room for authenticity or vulnerability. When emotional literacy is low, people rely on performative gestures rather than genuine connection, fueling relationships that are more about performance than presence. Real intimacy gets drowned out in the noise of aesthetic goals and relationship envy. This pursuit of an idealized relationship image has real consequences. People begin to date for likes, not love. They prioritize aesthetic over authenticity. They fear being vulnerable because social media punishes imperfection. Trauma loops, how the past haunts the present. Let's not ignore the trauma loop. Many people carry past wounds into new relationships, projecting old pain onto new partners. Without self-healing, it becomes a loop, hurting, leaving, repeating. Dr. Nicole Lepra, known as the holistic psychologist, often says, "We don't attract what we want. We attract what we are." So if you're emotionally unavailable or fearful, you'll likely attract the same. Think about it. If your last relationship ended because of betrayal, and you haven't done the inner work, your next relationship might be plagued by mistrust, even if your new partner hasn't done anything wrong. This is how trauma loops work. They distort our perceptions and responses, sabotaging connection before it even begins. Healing starts with awareness. You can't fix what you don't face. Begin by recognizing your patterns, asking what wounds drive them, and seeking therapy or guidance if needed. In one case study, a woman kept ending relationships abruptly every time her partner got too close. With therapy, she discovered this pattern stemmed from abandonment trauma in childhood. Only through reflection and processing was she able to rewire her responses. The vulnerability deficit. One of the most silent killers of modern love is the vulnerability deficit, a cultural fear of being seen in our raw, real form. In a world that constantly tells us to be strong, move on, or never let them see you sweat, we begin to associate vulnerability with weakness. But here's the paradox: real connection can only thrive in vulnerability. Brené Brown, renowned researcher on vulnerability and shame, said, "Vulnerability is the birthplace of love, belonging, joy, courage, empathy, and creativity." When we armor up emotionally, we may protect ourselves from pain, but we also shut out intimacy. If you're always pretending to be okay, always trying to come off unbothered, how will anyone truly connect with the real you? True strength in love is saying, "I'm scared, but I'm still choosing to show up." Digital dopamine and attachment addiction. Another factor disrupting modern love is digital dopamine, that hit of pleasure we get from likes, matches, and validation. But here's the thing: dopamine isn't love. It's reward. And when our brains get hooked on fleeting dopamine spikes, we start confusing attention with affection. Apps like Tinder or Instagram create a reward loop, making people chase likes instead of love. This trains the brain to seek novelty over stability, and instant gratification over long-term fulfillment. According to neuropsychologist Dr. Anna Lemke, overstimulation from technology creates a dopamine imbalance that numbs us to ordinary joys, including the slow, steady rhythms of a healthy relationship. So what happens? People get bored quickly. They mistake peace for dullness. They confuse emotional safety for lack of chemistry. But healthy love isn't always fireworks. Sometimes it's a quiet flame, steady, warm, and real. Hyperindependence, love's silent saboteur. Let's also touch on hyperindependence, the belief that needing someone makes you weak. This is often a trauma response. People who have been hurt before might build emotional walls so high that no one gets in, not even the good ones. They think, "I don't need anyone. I'm better off alone." But while independence is healthy, isolation isn't. We are wired for connection. And pretending we don't need love is often a sign of pain, not power. Healing here requires relearning interdependence, the art of leaning in without losing yourself. Love isn't about dependency, but it is about mutual support, emotional availability, and shared vulnerability. Healing is the new flex. In today's world, where chaos and confusion often dominate dating culture, here's a radical idea: healing is the new flex. Instead of chasing hot or high value, we should be chasing healed. Healed people communicate clearly, love intentionally, and leave peacefully if it's not working. They don't ghost, they communicate. They don't perform, they show up as they are. They don't chase attention, they nurture connection. So if you're listening to this and wondering, what can I do in a world where love feels so broken? Start here. Learn emotional literacy. Unlearn toxic patterns. Practice vulnerability. Value connection over validation. And above all, Heal, not just for your next relationship, but for you. Because your healing changes everything: how you love, how you live, how you let people in. Final thoughts: the revolution starts with you. Modern love may be broken, but you don't have to be. You can be the person who brings emotional depth in a shallow world. The one who speaks truth when others play games. The one who chooses growth over ego, and love over fear. And guess what? When enough people do this work, the healing spreads. Relationships improve. Trust deepens. The culture shifts. So, to everyone watching, thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing self-awareness over self-sabotage. And thank you for walking this journey with Astad Psyche. If this resonated with you, please like, comment, and share this video. Tell me, what part hit you the hardest? What are you personally healing from? And don't forget to subscribe, because this is just the beginning. More truth, tools, and transformation are on the way. Until next time, remember, in a world where love feels broken, becoming emotionally whole is your greatest power.